We're with Alex Kallgren, one of the 5 seniors on the Eastern Connecticut field hockey team. Eastern Connecticut getting ready for its season opener coming up on September 2nd. Alex, you guys went through a pretty stiff, as you usually do, pretty stiff preseason. Had a lot of success with some scrimmages. In general, how did the preseason go, do you think?
Overall, I think it went pretty well. We all came back in really good shape. There were no injuries this preseason, and it's been the first time since I've been here that at least not a single person had an injury, so that was a big help.
It's always big. It's always big. When you have people sitting on the sidelines during preseason.
Yeah, it's tough, especially with 15 girls this year.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
How'd the scrimmages go? I know you guys had some success. You had 3 scrimmages. Talk about those.
We had some success, yeah. So we won our first 2 scrimmages, which was really big. I think it was a big confidence booster as well because of such a small squad that we have. But yeah, I think overall the scrimmages went really well.
Do you think one area of the team more ahead of the other area? I mean, can you look at the offense and say we had great offense, or would you look at the goaltending and defense? Was there anything that stood out, or was it just across the board strong?
Across the board strong, definitely. This year's team chemistry is really big. We all work really well together. We all want to win, and I think all together we worked really hard, and there was no single person or offense, defense, like without everyone, we wouldn't have won those scrimmages. So
we've talked about this with some of the soccer players that that they're pushing more. I know you're one of the captains with Katie Janker, correct?
Yep.
But a lot of teams are pushing more towards, instead of putting all the responsibility on 1 or 2 people as captains, that it's spread out among the team. Is that a philosophy of your program or no?
Yeah. So just because Katie Janker and I are captains this year doesn't mean every single person on the team is a leader. Like, we have, like, every girl is a leader at some point, and it's just a title. Yeah. But we consider every single person on the team as a leader.
Would you consider this to be an experienced team?
Yeah.
Because you lost quite a bit, but you still have some people back.
Yeah. So I think we were all kind of nervous because we lost so many girls. Yeah. But I think after our scrimmages that we've played, like, we were like, wow, I think we all surprised ourselves because we have a really talented team. So I think we are pretty experienced and ready to go.
Well, you lost 8 players from that team, 8 starters, I should say. So obviously some people who were on the bench had to have stepped up, and you don't have to name them by individuals' names, but is that going to be sort of the case where some people maybe who came off the bench last year are maybe going to be playing, 60 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, Coach told us at the end of spring ball last year that we better be ready to go to play 60 minutes, every single one of us, because there's 15 of us. It's definitely it's going to be different. During preseason, we said, like, it's completely different because I've been playing with the same players for the past 3 years. Yeah. And, like, if you're off the bench, you have to grow, and I have to grow, as well as other players. Like, so we work together, and I think that's going to be that was our biggest issue, like, our biggest worry. But I think after watching these scrimmages, the girls that came off the bench really came out, and they're doing really well.
Well, you talked about this when we were talking before. You were so used to playing with the same players for 2 or 3 years that you, without even talking, you knew when to pass it and when they should cut and everything like that. Did it take a little bit of preseason to start to get a little more familiar with some of these new players?
I think so. I think spring ball really helped.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because with spring ball, we got to, like, break it down and work on what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and then this preseason, like, it was the same thing, but I feel like, yeah.
Are you guys ready? Do you think you're ready? Did this preseason prepare you for, I mean, your first game is coming up in a couple of days. Are you guys saying to yourselves, yeah, we're ready to go, or do you feel like we could use a few more days to practice, or what's the mindset?
I think we're ready to go. I actually know we're ready to go. We played Smith for our last preseason scrimmage, and they are pretty tough competitors normally for us. We lost against them last year during our scrimmage, and they have the same kind of skill and whatever, like our coach says, as Springfield. So going into it, I feel we have decent chance, and we're all excited to just start our actual season and see how it goes. I think some girls might be a little worried because Springfield, you always hear Springfield's so great, but the way we've been practicing and working well together and stuff, I think we're going to be a team that's going to be a force.
Well, 15 players on the roster as of right now, which only leaves you with a few subs. Do you think when the word gets out that Eastern is low on numbers and they've lost 8 starters from last year, or 8 regulars, do you think people are going to be saying, well, this isn't going to be a tough game?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's going to be our biggest advantage because we only have 15 players. And we were ranked 7th in the LEC conference.
The preseason poll?
Yep. So that's huge too because we're not okay with that. We want to be 1 or 2. And I think everyone's going to be like, oh, they lost all their starters, da-da-da. But I don't think that, I think, yeah, we're going to be dangerous.
Were you guys disappointed with the way last year ended? By mid-season, you were right in the thick of it. You were 4-1 in the conference. Then you went 1-6. And again, we talked about it. Records can be deceiving because you played Plymouth, you played Keene, you played Wesleyan, you played Conn. But you were in the thick of it, and you had to be looking at, hey, we could do something in the Little East tournament, but things just didn't go your way.
I think we were all a little disappointed, especially with my sophomore year season, how we had such a good record. And we did lose 7 girls, but we still had 9,
yeah, exactly.
9 other girls that were playing the same and everything. So I feel like we were all really disappointed, but we also did have those tougher teams at the end of the season. Yeah. So maybe it would have been more beneficial if they were spread out more. Yeah. But I feel like it was kind of a disappointment. But this year I feel like we want to kind of make that different.
Make up for it?
Yeah, make up for it.
Talk about that your sophomore year that you just mentioned. What a great year, 13-7. You go and you play Keene in the finals, I think it was, right? You play at Keene, you give them all the game that they can, and you end up losing. But that was like a real milestone season, and you were only a sophomore. You scored 15 goals. I think you were the leading scorer on that team of all veterans. What was the feeling as that season went along?
Well, it got even more exciting as we made it to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Semifinals was a huge game because we were all we won the first playoff game. This is our year. We all got along again so well, and I feel like the semifinal game was just so crazy. When we were winning, and then they tied it, and we were like, we can't end it as a tie. We need to go all out 100%, and like I said before, under the lights makes it so much more intense and stuff, and I feel like we wanted it more than they did, and we got it. So definitely towards the end of the season when we started dominating, we're this is our year, it was such an exciting year. I think about it all the time.
The veterans on that team, they were they just would not take no for an answer. You know what I mean? The program had struggled, and they said, we're going to put this program over the top. Yep. It had to be fun as a sophomore playing on a team that had so many seniors.
Definitely. Especially because I got along with all of them so well, and they enjoy working with me, which obviously makes it even greater as a sophomore.
For sure.
But yeah, it was a really fun experience. It was great.
When you came in as a freshman, you said you were almost sort of like a walk-on. At what point did you think that I could really do some damage in this program? Because if you stay healthy, you'll probably set the record for goals, and you will very likely set the record for career points also. Did that ever crystallize for you at some point in your career, maybe last year, where I could make a run at this? I don't know. Some people don't care about that, and some people follow it closely.
Well, I never thought that I'd be a leading scorer, hold the record for the school. That's a really big accomplishment. But I definitely, my freshman year, was nervous, as always, any freshman would be. But after preseason, the girls really helped make me feel comfortable, and I was dominating in the running tests and everything. And then when we got our first few games and I scored, I was like, this is the team for me. I'm actually pretty successful at this, and
this is a piece of cake.
I want to work really hard and achieve as much as I can for the program, not even just for myself, because I feel like I'm not a selfish player in that aspect. So, but I definitely want to see the program grow always. So
it helps you and the program
yeah.
at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Last question, Alex. You've got 5 seniors on the team, but 3 of them, you, Katie Jankura, a defender, and Maddie LaRusso, a goalie, all came in as freshmen. You'll all be going out as seniors this year. What's it like to develop a bond like that? You guys had to be pretty close, or have to be pretty close.
So there were obviously a few more of us. Some
Yeah.
dropped, and I think that also made us stronger as the 3 who stayed on the team, because we were like, okay, we're in this for the long haul. Especially Madison LaRusso, she's been the biggest cheerleader and biggest supporter, and she's amazing. And since my freshman year, we've said we're gonna stick this out. We're gonna have a great time. Senior year, we can live together, and everything's come true. We're really good friends, and yeah, it's great.
You appreciate it now, but when you look back on it in 20 years, I mean, those 2 players, with what you've gone through at the same time, those 2 players could be people that you're still close with in 30 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what athletics is about.
Yep.
So Eastern Connecticut Field Hockey getting ready for the season opener. They're going to be at Springfield College on Saturday, September 2nd in a non-conference game at noon. And then right away they're back in it in a Little East Conference play on Wednesday the 6th. They're at Plymouth State University at 7 o'clock. Alex, thanks for being with me. Good luck this year.
Thank you.